one of India's oldest venture capital funds. We're talking about Helion Ventures, which completes a decade of investing in India. As you know, some of their portfolio firms include the likes of Big Basket, Yepme, the likes of YLG, Muscular, a very diverse basket. To really find out about the Helion journey this last decade, we're joined by its Senior Managing Director, Sanjeev Aggarwal, on the show. Sanjeev, thank you so much for coming on ET Now Startup Central to really share the Helion journey. Take us through the last 10 years and the key hits and misses according to you as a venture capitalist.
This GDP growth that was going to switch to digital channels, that was one theme. Second theme was that India tech talent could create interesting products and services which can potentially be used for global markets. And the third theme is that some of the founding members of Helion were former entrepreneurs and operating executives. We could be providers of not only capital but active help in building a company, having been through that journey ourselves. So I think those are the three pillars on which Helion was founded. And circa 2016, I think it's a sense of gratification that many of these things have played out. In the sense that we have been able to help develop world-class companies through this tenure, and I'll talk to you a little bit later about interesting companies that have emerged in our portfolio. So one, we've been able to pick many industry cycles during this period. Two, we've been able to build companies across these themes that we had picked up. The theme for domestic demand going digital was around e-commerce and online. And theme for global businesses leveraging India talent was around enterprise software and outsourcing. And I think we have very interesting companies in our portfolio across all these sectors.
Sanjeev, this is Krishna coming to you from ET Now's Mumbai studios. I wanted to ask you, tell us, what is the most difficult part in terms of partners leaving, say, over the last year or so, or was it something else altogether?
Through this 10-year period, we found that the internet penetration took up a lot slower than what we had envisioned. So I think there was a delay in the consumer internet pickup relative to what our expectation was, and that meant that a lot of capital was deployed in companies that would take longer to fructify. And three, obviously, as you highlighted, we do miss the colleagues who left us.
Sanjeev, in terms of the kind of investments that Helion has made, you switched from consumer tech to hardcore consumer ventures in the offline space. Then you came back to tech. Do you think this, back and forth in your strategy cost you to some extent? I mean, some would say that you caught the e-commerce wave late compared to, say, a Kalari or an IDG, that Helion really missed out on investing in, say, a Flipkart and a Snapdeal.
We actually have been investing in consumer internet since our beginning, Chandra. As I said, we were focused on two aspects, consumer internet and tech companies being built from India in Fund 1. And we had Make My Trip and companies like Redbus and Taxi for Sure come up in that phase. We did miss the two big companies that made all the waves, which is Flipkart and Snapdeal. But I would not say that that was due to our focus on non-tech, because we continue to do tech across all our three funds, but you're right, in Fund 2 we did a little bit of more non-tech. And we realized that as a company you always need to do a little bit of experimentation, that tech companies generate better returns.
All right, Sanjeev, let the past be past and let the bygones be bygones. Talk to us about your fourth fund, which is in progress as we speak.
We take a sector by sector view on what's coming next. And at this point in time, we feel fintech is ready, logistics is ready as two big industries that are getting disrupted. Home services is another sector which is waiting to go online. And our second belief is that India's tech talent is really come of age. So new generation outsourcing companies, we recently invested in a data analytics company called Axtria. So there will be a lot of specialized vertical companies in the analytics, mobility, cloud arena that can be built leveraging India's talent.
Sanjeev, you mentioned interesting sectors, but we've noticed in the last year most of the investments that you've made are mostly follow-on investments. Is that something that we're going to see over the next few months as well? That you will continue to make follow-on investments in your existing portfolio and not so much new companies, because we're also in an environment where the risk appetite has come down, more caution has seeped in. Will that be the strategy in the near term for Helion Ventures?
That's a very good point, Chandra. I think our leaning would be to support our own companies first, because we are already part of those companies, but we continue to selectively look for new entities to invest in. But you're right, we will do more follow-on and a limited number of new investments, because we do have a fairly large portfolio at this point in time. So this is a good period to do a little bit of consolidation.
All right, Sanjeev, before we let you go, quickly tell us, we have been hit with a brand new set of FDI norms as far as the e-commerce sector is concerned. Tell us, what is your take on what you've seen?
Our first reaction is that most of the entities in the e-commerce industry are compliant in their structure. And some new elements like 20% not being supplied by one supplier in e-commerce marketplace is actually in a way validation of a marketplace, because marketplace by itself means a diffuse number of suppliers. So my first reaction is that I don't think it has any material negative or positive impact, but as I said, we have to look at the fine print before we can give you a more informed view.
That's an important reaction coming in there from Sanjeev Aggarwal, considering their portfolio companies include the likes of Big Basket. Yet Big Basket still a bone of contention, so we'll really have to see how that pans out going forward. But Sanjeev, thank you so much for talking to us on ET Now Startup Central, and we will keep a close tab on the companies that you're investing in going forward.
Find us on Facebook at facebook.com/ETNow, and don't forget to click the like button. You can also follow us on Twitter at ETNowLive. To stay updated with all our programming, hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel by logging on to youtube.com/user/ETNow.